Ah, my friend, you have deserted the seas for the comforts land has to offer. Welcome home. Aye, it was time. If not for the passing, my torch would be extinguished.
I bet.
Can you truly give up what she offers? Her countless mysteries, her beauty, her treachery, all found in the journey, which is most precious of all. Aye, my heart fractures. A new generation must conquer the unknown in my stead. I'm glad you made it, my friend. But I must ask, where did you send those young men? Currents beyond memory. We've tread them before. Like many things once essential, they have been lost. Surely you haven't sent them into uncharted waters. Safety is readily available in the mainstream.
The age of consent.
Many ships and a sure passage. Nay. Untold scores of brave men created the path. Us amongst them. Where once innovation and creativity, where now stands idle bootlickers and hapless cowards. So nay, I did not send them to the mainstream. I've simply given them a heading. They may fail. Aye, they may. 'Tis the risk of great men. But a new age is here. In its course will be set upon the iron seas of fate. And to these brave men and women I say, Godspeed, and hail the Iron Age!
Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
Based.
What up? Welcome to the Iron Seas. I am your captain for this week, Admiral A.C Pritchard.
Ahoy!
We need an animation of all of AC's tattoos, like dancing, like in Moana or something. Justin's like, what freaking Chinese language are you speaking right now? What did you say?
No, he understood my language. That was binary metal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There are only 2 genders in
What
metal.
gender is
Anyway.
that?
One of the millions.
The wrong one. Anyway.
The millions. Anyway,
Tremendous.
tonight our topic is Braveheart. All of you out there listening and watching right now, listen to your Braveheart, which is what you should have done. You all came through for freedom and for your boy AC in the vote.
Butt-loving percent. I almost got people to vote for make us
wasn't even the
watch
whole
What
percent.
Women Want over Braveheart. I deserve a medal.
No, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Losing's losing.
Can you shave and do that again, but real slow?
What?
Shave your head. Get out of a cool car and say it.
Shave my head. Get out of
Yeah,
here.
cover your head in oil. Anyway,
Yeah.
so some other topics we're going to go through: justice systems and writing and stories. We also got self-insertion, giggity, in stories. Digital,
boy, tell me about that.
digital versus print. I'm assuming in like the fulfillment process, but also like digesting the final product, like just the pros and cons of both, maybe. And historical accuracy in movies. All of these are relevant to Braveheart, except for maybe digital versus print. That might not be relevant for.
It was very important in ancient Scotland.
Yes.
I love how you guys always just take my like half thought ideas for topics and just roll with it. Never ask me any more
Let's
questions.
Let's go.
I'm just like,
It's all
that's
right,
barely
man.
a thought there. Okay.
But some of us are idea guys, others of us are finishers, and I always finish.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You heard
Oh,
it here.
so-
You got something to say, Justin? There you go.
So obviously you can see I'm not in the short bus this week. I've taken a little trip away.
I wish
but
I wish that image you guys were working on earlier was ready to show off to everybody, because it's you know the one I'm talking about, the one that Justin had. AC.
Wait, is there an
muted.
image that I don't know about?
I'm gonna have fun with
It's,
that.
it's in the Discord. It's in the Discord.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'll tag you in it right now. But like, yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Justin, you're muted.
Does he know he's muted?
He had no idea.
It's new.
Dude, I'm sitting here trying to jump in, and a bunch of times I'm like, why are they ignoring me?
Honey, they're not letting me talk again.
I thought it auto unmuted, man. I'm just computers, you know. I'm gonna go back to my abacus.
So, guys, this week, so I had to travel, right? Pack my bag, and so typically my wife uses my backpack for work. But yeah, I mean, so we have this thing, right, where sometimes I telework and my chargers are missing. And chargers, because I work in IT, I don't usually have a problem having a charger, but I call my wife to find out where it is, and it's gone. I tend to get upset. Like, I gotta take time off because my battery's gonna die. So when I go on this trip and I go to unpack everything out of this bag, and so I can pack my own stuff in it. 1, 2, 3, 4 chargers in a backpack. 4 chargers in a backpack.
Man, she
for a
had
laptop.
You gotta take your power back from your wife, man. You can't let her disrespect you
It's
that
ridiculous. I mean, there was a 5th charger, which for a scooter, but like, Jesus Christ.
Seabat says just upset. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm so mad, I'm gonna shave my beard. Watch this.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
I mean, it's like, you don't notice like the weight of the bag. Like, the chargers aren't like that light.
I wonder if I can start a new YouTube channel, like Thai ASMR. I feel like that may be misleading, but I'll get a lot of initial clicks.
Initial clicks, yeah. Also, hail Tim McKay. Thanks for coming.
Mr. Tim McKay, welcome to the Iron Seas.
And the hedge, if I did not mention him.
Dude, I had my fast charger give up recently for my iPhone. Dude, I'm so upset. I can't, like, it takes so long to charge now, like, with every time I plug in my damn phone. I'm like, How do people live this way? It's not right.
No, this is the thing. I work at IT, right? So like my wife steals a charger that's not hers and takes it to work. I'm like, all right, fine. I'll just bring another one. And then I'm like, okay, this one's gone now. What's going on? So I go get another charger.
My rule used to be that I have.
Those chargers were for those two laptops.
I love tossing Bats' wife's comments up as he's talking, because then it's like the
She's
audience
always giving him shit, and
the audience will be reading about him as he's talking. It's pretty great.
And he can't even pretend like they don't know each other because her name is literally Bats.
Bat's wife.
Yeah,
Bat wife.
So what's everybody been working on? Let's get into that. What's everybody been working on this week?
been reclaiming my chargers.
Yes,
that's for one.
A certain book cover for Dunce Whisperer, a certain new video for a comic campaign, and a certain comic campaign in and of itself. I just came fresh from an appearance. That's the book. Let me full screen that.
It's not the official cover. It'll
be a new cover.
It isn't, but check it out.
That is a.
Well, it's not gonna.
Wow, that's dude. That image is so clear.
Yeah.
Who the hell is Joseph?
Joseph? Is that like Justin? Is that like Justin? Yeah. But that's what I've been up to. A lot of that.
Sweet, man.
And mowing my lawn for like 12
Yeah,
we need to have like a talk. I need to know why. Why?
I sent a video.
What movie? What part movie is this? Is it the Never Ending Story Part 4?
The Never Ending Lawn.
Yeah, dude, you're working on that lawn for like 15 hours or something insane, and we got more and more confused.
He started like halfway through the day yesterday, and today's like, I'm mowing the lawn. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah. He's like, guys, I'm reading an audiobook that's like 15 hours. Yeah, I just finished it. I'm still mowing.
Yeah,
like,
I'm still mowing.
What is happening that you're mowing?
Yeah,
are you using scissors? Are you clipping it by hand like some of my Filipino chick I used to date?
It was
no.
He literally finished Brian McCoppin's Record of Paladin.
Mowing the lawn. Mowing the lawn one time, I finished a 9-hour audiobook.
Yeah, it was he was like, dude, it's a jungle. And got to the point where we were all confused why it was all bogged down. Like, you said it's a picture?
He was joking. Yeah.
So then we get like a 3.5-minute video breakdown of exactly what was going on. It was good stuff. Good behind the scenes action.
Yeah. My dog.
You guys want to see it? You want to see AC work on his bush? Go check out his next YouTube video.
Talk about bushes, that fiery red mane that Mel Gibson had in Braveheart.
I did not know where that was going. I was so concerned. Based. Yeah, no, Mel was he was a heartthrob way back in the day, man.
Yeah, like that mullet.
Women wanted him. Some of the men. You know, he and I have a lot in common, actually. No.
Yeah. I mean, if you grew your hair out, if you grew your hair out, I suspect it would mane out like that. I don't know. I have that feeling.
Yeah, if I let it dry out and turn into a base like something just shy of dreadlocks, yeah, it does kind of.
Yeah.
So speaking of audiobooks too, another thing that we're setting up in the near future, we've all been, some of us going back for the second time, some of us for the first time, jumping into Shad's book, Shadow of the Conqueror. And I think we have an episode coming up here in the near future where we're going to sit down and have a little chit chat.
An Iron Seas special, if you will.
But that book, yes.
An official review.
Lots and lots of seeks in that book.
Yes, I will be listening and
lots
asking
of shirtless
questions
men
about
and
spoilers.
jokes about dreams.
Should we do it? Should we do it shirtless? Just to
Andy, I don't know if I'm comfortable exposing that much of myself online.
I'm gonna dye my hair blue. Just for
I feel like it's definitely a weird book to review shirtless.
I'm gonna wear 3 shirts just to
turtleneck.
Turtleneck stream would be funny.
I'm gonna wear my prayer beads and get an extra large cross necklace.
There we go.
My turtleneck is gonna look like a Christmas sweater, but it's gonna be knitted and it's gonna say "not gay."
Tim McKay says that's a different Braveheart flashing scene than I remember. I know the exact scene you're talking about. Proportionally, things are a little different, but the setting very similar. No.
Yes. That movie, oh man, talk about a historically accurate masterpiece, right? Like down to the prima nocta, to the exact death,
the dates, the characterization, everything, man.
the age of his companions, everything. It was all there. All
Yep.
of the accuracy. It was all there.
I've talked to Redoubt Production, an actual historian. He says most accurate film ever.
Wait,
That's true.
Historically,
If
Talking
Redoubt
about
says it,
historically
you can't
accurate
argue with
movies.
him. Yep. Hey, can I try out the new catchphrase to get people to press the like button?
Yeah,
Later.
do it.
All right. So for everybody in the chat, thanks for being here. Don't forget to pull out your cannon and fire your balls at the like button.
Get it. Smash that like button with your balls.
That's what we're sticking with. So you guys come up with something better.
I like it.
Every like,
pound him in the plussy.
every like is one more gold to balloon to keep this mighty vessel afloat.
Yeah.
Touch that golden like button and say, China. Just do it.
Each one of your balls helps the
What?
ship float.
All right. Let's talk
What
about
is
some
happening?
Braveheart here.
Anyway, now that we're done with all this masculine talk, let's talk
Yes.
about Braveheart.
Let's talk about Braveheart, the most historically accurate movie I've ever watched.
According to
Yeah,
Readout,
pleasure to
anyway.
listen.
You know, I had
For
some
research.
questions. He's like, nope, most accurate historical represented movie of all time. Seriously, nothing better.
This is 0 bridges out of 5 bridges for me. We'll talk,
where's the bridge?
Actually, we'll talk about that in a second here. Some of the reviews, the critical reception for this movie was not all great. So
It was really good early on, but as time went on, people were like, wait a second.
Oh, I guess I didn't timestamp when some of these reviews came out. But for those of you that have not seen the movie Braveheart, that came out in 1995, it is about William Wallace. He's a Scottish rebel who leads an uprising against the cruel English ruler, Edward Longshanks, who wishes to inherit the crown of Scotland for himself. Now, when he was a young boy, William Wallace's father and brother, along with many others, lost their lives trying to free Scotland. Once he loses another of his loved ones, William Wallace begins his long quest to make Scotland free once and for all, along with the assistance of Robert the Bruce. This movie cost
Bruce.
$72 million to make, but made a cool $213 million. It is 2 hours and 58 minutes long.
I would not cut a single minute from that.
I would cut all sorts of it. Anyways,
I
I
know
would
some
cut a
stuff
lot
to
of the
cut.
beginning.
Yeah. There's some stuff.
IMDb 8.3 out of 10, 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. I always wonder, though, more than 250,000 people reviewed this film on Rotten Tomatoes. That's a little sus in my book. 68% on Metacritic, which is the one factor that's a little bit off. 4.7 on Amazon. And the reason that the Metacritic score is so low is because the San Francisco Chronicle gave it a 50, saying it came up short by beating the drums of human treachery and violence so loudly that they became assaults. And the Washington Post gave it a 20, calling it a rambling disappointment. Time Magazine gave it a 30, saying Braveheart is too much, too late, whatever that means.
Well, Time
Whatever
Magazine
that
also
means.
gave Hitler historically a 10 out of 10. So
Yeah.
grain of salt. Grain of salt.
Yeah.
I think it was a
Actually,
review
twice,
for
if I'm
modern
not
audience.
if I'm not mistaken.
And obviously, this is Mel Gibson week, so this was not only starring Mel Gibson, but also he directed it. You also got Sophie Marceau and Patrick McGowan. I don't know how to say his name. Break up the review. Oh wait, no.
Are you okay?
Hang on.
Do we need to call somebody?
Break up the review into talk specific categories. How do we do this?
Oh, I got it.
got it,
Justin, I got it. Here's what you do. You just simply
Simply starts with simp. So
yes. So anyway, first category.
Nothing gayer than simping for your wife.
Gayness. Dang it, Kahuna, you beat me to it. All right. No, I meant no, how about that love, the romance, right? There's some classic 90s romance going on in this movie. I love it. My wife actually got behind it too.
It's simple.
She was glued to the TV. It was the middle of the night, and like this epic movie had my wife's attention. I was loving it. I was like, Yeah, we were.
It went on for too long.
No, the romance didn't have
So-
it didn't have a lot there, but I liked how simple it was. In this movie, I think it really worked. Like a lot of romance movies modern day are like, oh well, there's all this past and complication. It's like with them, it's like there is complication, but the love story itself is fairly one note, but it's a very good note.
It wasn't bad. And when you talk about the love story, you're basically talking about like the first hour of the movie, which is
it
just
is a
like
long hour for those of us who like to watch things
and I'm watching this, and I'm like, it's not like bad by any means, but I'm like, dude, this is dragging. And I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna be good. But then
oh hey Maji-chan, thanks for stopping in.
Cannons came out in the screen, and I was like, okay, you got my attention again. All right, let's go.
Yeah. There was a point.
Sorry,
the big battle, about like literally right at the halfway point. I knew it was coming, and I suspected, like, I kind of predicted this was going to happen, and the exact situation unfolded right after that battle. It went to the next scene, and my wife was like, "Holy shit, it's only halfway over."
Yes,
because they totally play it up like it's the end. And I'll tell you something. Right off the bat, you take this exact same movie, but you cut out every single scene from the other side, quote unquote, like all what the king's doing, what his entourage is doing. You don't need to see any of that. Just show us William Wallace and what he's going through. Yeah, that's all you need to see.
This is one area where I find I consistently disagree with everybody here a little bit.
Yes.
And that is, I don't mind
good
longer
old Royce
if the
opinion,
scene, if it is well filmed, if it feels important, if it's still engaging, I don't mind a longer film. I enjoy an engaging longer film.
That's
like
fair.
I watched the director's
engaging.
cut of Kingdom of Heaven, which is way longer than the OG cut. It's like almost over 3 hours long, I think.
People like the extended editions of Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Yeah,
those are great.
But I disagree that it was always engaging. Like I said, when the action started, I was kind of sold. Like the action in this was so impactful. With everything and just shot so there's someone like slicing a guy's leg clean off, but it was just so fun.
It was pretty visceral. You feel very close to the action. Except for that one.
The blunt weapons just like
splat with those real red splatter. Like they put some shit in the guy's helmet and then actually bonked him on the head. I'm pretty sure is how they got that.
Whenever we were kids, me and my buddies had this. I forget who owned it on a double VHS because the movie's too long.
Whoa.
And we would put those war scenes in extra slow motion to see like how exactly it would happen and stuff because we just thought the combat was cool because we were kids, But yes, it's exactly what you're saying. It was like a water balloon under there. You can see the helmet come down, and then it's just like sprays everywhere.
Bring back those effects. Bring them back. I love it.
The first limb,
dude, brutal.
The first limb that was cut off, I was like, I jumped out of my seat and I reacted, and I'm like, yeah. And I had like a bro moment right next to my wife, and I think
like the action, like a lot of the action in modern films feels so clean. Like it doesn't feel like guttural and like gritty and in your face with like the antler through the neck into the skull plate.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty. That's in it, man.
And I sent you guys a clip. There's some extras on set, and I actually learned a little fact about this.
That clip was so funny, dude.
There's one huge battle, and I don't know why, but for some reason I'm staring off into the background, and there's just a sea of guys still fighting in the background as this battle's drawing to a close. As this battle's drawn to a close, it's two fellas. So up on the top of the horizon, there's these two guys up there still fighting. But the way that they're fighting,
boys up there?
they're like one guy like spins around, and boys. Like, and they're just like going like that, not even trying.
Remember that? There's this one guy, the most limp dick sword swing I've ever seen. He was just like,
which limp dick? There's like 24 limp dick.
Well, part of the reason for it was that the extras on set, according to one video,
2,000 limp penises all over the screen.
The extras that were on set, I guess they were like Irish army dudes, and Mel and his team were like, yeah, we'll give you a weekend off. And then they didn't give him a weekend off, so they were tired and cranky, so they were just kind of mailing it in scenes, and you could definitely
To be fair, like on those kind of
Oh,
days, they're
shit.
shooting for like 12 hours, 16 hours a day,
Yeah.
Sure.
doing that kind of
And
stuff. It's exhausting.
miserable weather, and the scenery's just grotesque. And
So before we
You
get
wanna
maybe into the
run that
finer
by me?
details
What?
of the
Wait.
movie.
That last part. The scenery is grotesque.
oh, I was being sarcastic.
I was about to slap you through the internet.
Oh no! Once we get to that, I can tell you how my feelings felt about the my eyeballs and the imagery.
I think
So-
the setting, the way it's filmed, and the score really pull their weight in this movie. More so than in quite a lot of other movies, in my opinion. Whoa.
I agree. Although, another interesting fact about the score: did you notice the
Really
absence
good.
of bagpipes?
The absence of
Yeah.
it? I thought I heard
Yeah.
some bagpipes.
Those aren't bagpipes. Mel Gibson said that
Ooh.
bagpipes sound like a cat dying, and so he refused to put bagpipes in a Scottish movie, and he got some kind of Irish, smaller equivalent that he said was less harsh and shrill if they had to be in there. So it's kind of like a stand-in.
It's my favorite bagpipe soundtrack. So
We all have one of those, don't we?
So before we go too far, I just don't want to forget like my favorite scene of the movie, like hands down, right after the first fight ends, and you got Mel Gibson being like, "Wow, we did it," and everybody else is like, "Yeah, we did it." And right up in front, you got a guy lying down, dying.
Yeah. yeah. They had dudes like flopping around in the background all over that movie. It was awesome.
It
was awesome.
Flopping around.
You know what I realized?
Yeah.
This movie is, I already mentioned Lord of the Rings. This movie is like a precursor. This is like Diet Lord of the Rings, like proto Lord of the Rings. If you think about it. No, seriously, it's from the point of view of the orcs. Look at how the Scottish are equipped. They're like ragged, they got jagged blades, and, like no cavalry and stuff like that. Like it actually is very
they're being
close.
oppressed.
I know.
We're being
I know.
repressed.
They're
We're being
not
repressed.
orcs. Scots aren't orcs. I'm not saying Scots are orcs. Battsauce.
It reminded me
saying-
a lot of 300 story-wise.
That's going to be
Well,
like a BuzzFeed
story-wise,
article.
I guess-
A.C. Pritchard claims that Scottish people
Yeah.
are indeed orcs.
Quote: all Scots are orcs. Unquote. No, it was. I'm talking about in the aspect of like large scale battle.
This is a non-orc bus. Sorry.
No orcs allowed on this short bus. No, I'm saying like in battle terms. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
you have these like you even have like the motivational speech. Like it checked all the boxes. It's almost like Lord of the Rings looked at successful movies in the past, and Braveheart was one of them because there was heavy like Lord of the Rings the movie vibes going on
Right.
there with the battle.
The filmography, the way the movie
Yeah.
flows, there's
Yeah.
there's definitely at least inspired DNA in Lord of the Rings for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, this like sweeping landscape shots. The scenery is beautiful in this movie, and the color grading, the greens really pop. Even Mel Gibson's blue eyes.
His
Holy crap.
baby blues, dude. Holy
Just like-
smokes.
This guy's got nice eyes.
Like you go into the movie, you're like, how would this girl fall in love like right away?
Oh,
Like,
that's how.
that's
That too,
how.
man.
I got it.
That's
Yeah.
how. Yeah.
You're
You got
looking.
pretty
I'm
eyes.
like, I understand. No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
The,
Also, Herman B.
what
Hunter
is it?
says he's not saying that Scots are orcs. He's just inferring it. Frankly, they're animals. They need more taxes, a little bit more prima nocta. Ugly orcs, ugly
And
orc
then you got
women,
orcs. And then you got orcs.
very ugly women. Anyway.
No, I mean D&D doesn't have orcs anymore, so you need something. Scots.
Oh
are
yeah,
just-
haven't they made like the orcs basically just people now?
Yes.
they have tusk people now. They have
Yeah.
like people with tusks.
I identify as a
tusk.
my teeth identify as tusks. so
Tusk
how does
person.
that
I'm a
work?
tusked person. Anyway.
Yeah,
Scots
no.
are
So
prima
with
nocta.
Scots,
Anyway,
Scotland and
prima nocta.
English, it's like like the whole history between Scotland and English. They're just constantly fighting, and it's like
Yeah.
it's funny. If France gets brought in there, and France is always the one. It's like, it's Tuesday, so let's side with the Scots, or it's Thursday, it's British time.
Look at the history of war between Great Britain or England and France. Anytime the English are fighting someone, the French, even if they're allies at the time, will just be like, so you guys hate the British, right? Americans,
Yeah.
Scots, Irish are like, yeah.
We can all
Here's
agree.
money. Here's troops. Quick.
Yeah.
Get him. Go on.
Yeah,
Get
this is
him.
the
Get
big
him
problem
more.
with Britain is it's just like we hate everyone so much. Well, we hate the Scots and the French just so much.
Here's one
But
thing
we
I
can
don't
all
understand.
agree that we hate the British, right? Okay. Yeah,
I don't
let's
get
them.
though. The entire premise of the movie is Scotland is fighting for their freedom against the English, because the English are just
Aye.
basically taking advantage of them and stealing their wives on the nights of their weddings and destroying
Yep.
villages and killing people and doing all this horrible stuff. So the whole movie's about Scotland fighting for their freedom.
Freedom!
In the UK, the
Sorry.
countries in the UK include Scotland, correct?
Uh-huh.
Am I wrong on
Yeah.
this? Am I
No,
dead
that's
wrong,
true.
or are they still not their own thing? They're part of
No,
the
they're-
UK.
Me and the wife were looking this up. That's true. They're
It's
in the
not
UK, I
their
think.
country. It's our country.
I think they're in the UK.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like different regions and stuff like that. Like they might not have identified with the government that
Right.
oversaw them. Like they identified with the tribes, their old people, their old like stuff. So
So it's like the
yeah,
freedom.
I mean, it's like-
Yes.
kind of, right?
yeah.
Because if you
Well, I
look
mean,
at
even,
it,
even today, it's like Irish people. Like you call an Irishman a Brit or something like that, they'll lose it. Like
yeah,
they're Irish, you know.
yeah.
They still
Or-
very much more identify with their land than their government. You know.
Hold
I know
hold on.
that's UK, but still.
The Irish are not. Oh, Northern Ireland's a part of the UK, but not all of Ireland.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of weird to say like that's a thing?
I forgot about
What?
that, honestly.
Ireland
weird.
has been the bent over bitch of England for for like 1,000+ years. Also,
We're
King
sorry,
Bob says
Ireland.
that was before there was a UK though. James, who's James?
That would be Justin, I think.
Dude, I got another new name. Great.
Chris,
Justin,
James.
Justin, I'm
I
Austin,
used
James,
to call him Chris.
Jason.
I used to call him Chris when he didn't tell people his name just to fuck with him.
And
I used to call him Evalay.
I got called Chris a lot growing up by people I didn't know, like older people. Like, hey, Chris, give me a hand. I guess I just give off Chris vibes. I don't know.
You do
But
look
there's
like
a whole
Chris.
there's a whole list of names you and I came up with what people called you. It was pretty funny.
Yes.
I you know what I'm proud about in regards to your internet fame? That now your wife has called you ever gay at least one time. And I would like to think
now.
What was that?
Ever
I played a
gay.
small part.
Conversation. Yeah, I told them that Bats called me Eva gay at some point, and what were we talking about? I was talking to her about something, and she's like, "Is that because you're?" I was like, "Don't you?" And then she did. I was like, "I don't know. Get another comeback from that."
Based.
So.
Hold
Yeah.
on. I gotta play it. I gotta play it.
Based. Tremendous.
Yeah. Wait, no, there's another one. I have a wife clip. Here's the wife clip.
Oh, jeez.
What?
I haven't seen that episode of Rick and Morty. I know that's
Yeah.
Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Yeah. Dude,
Gross.
he's a cool character.
I don't know. I don't think Rick and Morty's for you, Justin, to be fair.
I've seen a couple episodes.
It's barely for me. It's barely
odd.
for me.
There's a lot of things not
speaking
there for
of,
Justin.
But I like
You know,
what I like.
movies.
The hygiene in these old movies always cracks me up.
Yeah.
Where everybody's kind of like filthy clothes and dirty and their hair's all a mess and all that because it's, before running water and all these modern day conveniences.
I just thought because there was a high concentration of redheads.
And the people always have amazing smiles. Amazing. And even if the teeth were perfectly straight because, I don't know, they were chewing on sticks or something that kept their teeth in good shape or what have you, shouldn't they be yellowed? Or the lack of sugar intake keeps them in good health, but shouldn't they at least be a little yellow, a little bit messy?
Something.
Maybe like a grass shard in there or something.
It depends on how on the culture and the time, because
Yes.
historically people ate a lot tougher foods more often, so their teeth were more worn down on average than modern day people, but they were straighter. They didn't have a lot of the misaligned teeth thing that we have now. Despite
surely some
pictures.
yellowing though, no? I don't know.
Well,
Anyways,
Yeah, but there's a lot of Brits, man. Come on.
You'd be
it always
amazed at
makes me giggle. And
I'm
it's
being a
like,
little realistic here.
the land
and-
that dentistry
Dentist?
forgot.
you could be amazed by what you could get done with like a little bit of sand. Actually, I don't know if you guys have ever tried like cleaning your camping dishes.
Oh,
Dude,
I thought you
like-
brushing your teeth with
I
sand.
thought, I thought you
No,
were saying
same
the inside
idea.
of mouth.
Same idea. You could get like
Yo,
the plaque
AC's
and
trying to
stuff
keep
off your
Darth
teeth.
Vader away when he goes to sleep.
You don't want
I
sand in your
had
teeth?
an accidental version of that while I was swimming to a nude beach once.
Woo! That was awesome. Nude beach, like the sex scene in Braveheart. That was a good one,
Which
right?
one?
Romantic,
Which one?
right?
Which
one? Not the bad one.
No, he's not talking about the very close personal friend of the prince who was tossed out a window. For sure.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Not talking about that.
Oh, that's hilarious, dude. That was awesome.
The king is based.
I have always, you know what? I every time I see that scene, I think of the first thing I ever heard when I watched it as a child. My dad was with me. Obviously, he'd already seen it. We're watching the movie, and he's like walking him towards the window, and then he goes and tosses him. And he runs over, and my dad yells in this high soprano voice, "But father, I love him." And now every damn time I watch this movie, I think of that fucking line. But father, I love him.
Oh my goodness.
Well, that's a perfect segue into like the cast of characters. I feel like the acting was really good, and all of the characters do an awesome job portraying the character.
Oh, the
that
king
they are
is such a
to.
cock, dude. I
know.
Did such a good job.
And the one dude's dad, and it lends itself to some great scenes. One of my favorites was the relationship between William Wallace, Mel Gibson, and his buddy Hamish, who's like this giant redheaded mountain Viking dude, and even his kids.
They're
Hamish
friends because they throw rocks.
Yeah, they throw rocks.
And Hamish just punches him in the face for no reason. And when they reconnect years later, he's like, "Oh," and punches him again. I'm just like, "That's great. That's good."
All of that was great.
And that's when he recognized him after the punch. He's like, "Oh,
after the punch, yeah."
Yes, yeah.
I just love you watch a scene like that, and you're like, "Yeah, it's what men do, you know."
What men do.
We just hate each other, and we know we're friends, you know.
Says the Marine. Of course, you guys did that.
Just what we do, man.
Probably with less clothing on. No,
shit, dude.
Oh, but again, we're gonna praise Mel quite a bit in this kind of discussion, but his acting is really
crazy
every time he talks, like you believe it. He has this intensity to him that you can't really fake.
It's in the eyes. That's where the acting is, in my opinion.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Even from early on. They establish William Wallace's father tells him, it's good to be able to fight, but you need to have something in here first, and that kind of
use your head.
So he is a bit of a wild man. He's a hell of a fighter and all of that, and he can lead people, but he's not just this crazy let's get him. He seeks out peace, gets pushed, and even the one scene where his wife gets taken out by the guards and he catches the head guard. It's not this big, long, drawn-out torture scene. He kills him the exact same way and just as fast as they took out his wife, and it's just like, boom. And he just goes about his business. It's not like this crazy, mad, you killed my... It was just like, whoop, and just goes in well, okay, now what?
Like Furiosa? No, it's like a very Mel Gibson... Yeah, I know. It's a very Mel Gibson way to take somebody out, I think, just like the same way. Moving on, I'm not going to dwell on it.
Yep.
Also, before we move on from it, right after that scene is one of my favorite moments of the entire film, and that is at the funeral / wake for his wife. He puts her down, and then he comes over to her parents, obviously who didn't know about the marriage beforehand, and he kind of just kneels and lowers his head before them, kind of offering himself for whatever judgment basically they could give him. And the body language on him, the acting, the trembling, the music, the score, everything about it's one of my favorite points of the entire film. It's very you see every emotion without a single word. It's really, really good. The father he's so upset, so sad that he's lost his only daughter, but he knows that she was loved before she died, and he can't really blame him and her for eloping the way that they did. I really like that scene. Justin was probably watching it at 2x speed, so he may not even remember it. But
I couldn't get my hands on the DVD, so I had to watch it in 1x, but I was playing on my phone while it was on, for what that's worth.
I just lost my Gurren Lagann figure. Oops.
Oh, no.
So yeah, the characters were all really
Regular.
well acted, well cast, and I think as we kind of alluded to before, the big draw of this movie is sure there's good relationships and drama and scenes like that, but it's the battles I think that really carry the day for this film, as they need to in any kind of big epic war type movie of this style. The action's gotta be really good, and this movie absolutely delivers to the
It
point
felt
where
so visceral, so
Yes.
like in your face and very close.
my wife didn't want to watch it. She's like, I can't watch the fighting, and it's too brutal. I was like, that's fair. It's pretty intense.
It's not as brutal in most films, even of a similar caliber.
Yeah, it felt very
Yeah.
real in a lot of the scenes. Just
Yo, BS, what's up, bro?
Yeah, I mean,
Like
I have terrible memory, but like there were some baller quotes towards the end. That's all I remember. I remember hearing some quotes being like,
all
yeah.
throughout.
yeah.
it was
All
like,
throughout,
that was
man.
a section. Actually, I have a section here, and I forgot to actually look up some quotes from it of some of the things. I bet you AC's got a bunch memorized because he had, whenever this won, he was rattling off a whole bunch of the quotes from it that stuck out. There's one about some men never live.
Yeah.
Not all men die. Not everyone truly lives.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, when he was in prison. Yeah, that was a good one.
Oh, and
Oh,
his I think it was his
if
father
you-
tells him, "Your heart is
If you
free."
would just lead them to freedom, they would follow you. Sorry, I've seen this movie a lot.
Your heart is free. Have the courage to
Yeah.
follow it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very early on. It's his dream about his dead father telling him, almost
Oh,
the
yeah.
last little goodbye. Yeah.
That's right. All his dreams.
But
Also,
yeah, I still
thinking
stand
about
by. I just think some of the beginning needed to be cut up.
What
Take
part
it down
of the
at
beginning?
least a 2.5 hour. Well, like they didn't need to show that much of the relationship.
That's where I'm at. It got long in the tooth by the end.
Like you
It's a little
really,
overshot.
really got you into it, and it's like, okay, I get it. They love each other. Like you set this up, like so there can be the emotional payoff. But it's like I don't think having all that extended stuff in there really made her death as more impactful than if they just cut it up more. Some movies.
Go ahead. Make your point.
Well, I mean, like you
Incorrect
take
point.
like a movie like Hot Fuzz, like the director does like Hot Fuzz, and he's able to transition things very quickly with flashes of scenes. I'm not saying movies need to be that quick or anything like that, but it just goes to show with some clever editing, you can convey what you need to in a short amount of time. And this turn, they did, and they just took way too much time to get the point across. Essentially,
I agree.
I know you guys agree, and I respectfully, you're dead fucking wrong. Anyway, no,
Okay.
I think they could have shortened it up, but I'll tell you, there are a lot of movies I've seen where things don't work because I don't think like you don't get enough time with the characters to actually care about them, and I'd say that happens to me more frequent. That feeling is more frequently in my own experience than I wish they had spent less time with these characters.
But to me,
It just happens.
Batsauce's point. It's that they didn't do it right, because you can do things tight and concise and also get all of that across. I think that whatever you're seeing, it must just not have been done well, unless you really just want to spend time with these people. Like, I like them.
Seabats is based. That's all.
No, she just wants me to be wrong. No, I mean, it's just a lot of these movies, these older movies. I mean, I said the same thing with the Western and stuff like that. I just think they just didn't have editing figured out, and I think we have it more instinctually figured out now because we're more accustomed to these newer movies. But
I think we're all just
I
a
don't
little
think that's a
too
bad thing.
ADHD. I think like
not at all. Not at all.
there are scenes in newer and
No.
older movies where you have to just kind of sit with it, and sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't. That like there's old Charles Bronson movie, Once Upon a Time in the West. People love that. People who like old westerns love that film. It is boring as sin. I can't stand how slow and boring that fucking movie is. That's a slow film. You want a slow film? Try watching that movie. You watch this train approach, you think something's going to happen because they're lingering. No. You just watch it slowly travel 5 miles per hour for 5 miles. Holy crap!
I don't know what you're talking about, but
And that's when you throw it in. You throw it in 2x, and it's not that bad. You can edit yourself on the fly. You just take.
Justin,
control.
if you put that particular scene in 2x, it would still feel 3 times too long. That's what I'm saying.
But
10x then. Let's
either
get
way.
through it.
I guess it's till AC gets back. I mean, decide whether it sinks or floats. I think we've reached that time.
We can all individually vote. I'm fairly certain we're all about all of our opinions on this one. But
the action alone is just a floater, man. That action is like a lot. Like even modern movies, like I'd rather watch this. Like I'd rather watch this type of action than like even the good Marvel movies action.
Oh yeah, for sure. It feels more real. It's not all CGI and silliness.
They have gobs of extras and they're on location. You really do feel it in these kind of films. Like all those films like where half of or majority of it is just blue screen.
Oh yeah.
It's just like
even my wife was watching Dungeons and Dragons, and there were some scenes in that where I'm just like, this green screening is awful.
I'm watching these people run down a green hallway with pretending monsters are there.
Yep. And you can really tell. That's even another reason that we talked about before. I saw it out of the corner of my eye. It seemed fine. Seemed fine. Seemed like if I was penning it, I was like, I could fix that, this, and that'd be an amazing movie, and people would still be talking about how great it is, and there'd be sequels coming down the pipe instead of them not. Top Gun Maverick. That one was also very practical effects, and whenever you're watching that movie in the theaters,
I was waiting for a bad opinion. I was about to get so mad.
Jets flying on screen, like actual jets. You're like, this is awesome, and you can't recreate that with CGI battles and all of that. Also, you were talking about people are too ADD with movies.
I do think so.
There's a little bit of that, but there also is the factor of we turn these movies around in a week. And sometimes we don't have a full week because the poll gets finished on like Thursday. So you have like 3 or 4 days to get through a movie.
If I'm lazy, it's a problem. Yeah, sorry.
And you guys, I mean, we have kids, we have jobs, we have family, we have friends, we got other things we got going on. So whenever it's a movie that's like 3 hours, I'm like, man, I got to carve out a chunk of time to get through this because I got so many other things going on. It's big. So whenever that's like one of the reasons I picked Kung Fury for this couple weeks that didn't make it to the polls.
Kung Fury.
It's 31 minutes. That's such like you could watch that. Well, it's about 5 times, 6 times in the span of this.
We need to watch Kung Pao at some point, man. That movie is so freaking funny.
But yeah, the time constraints is another issue. It's not just purely I don't have the attention span. It's that there's so many other things going on. It's just that we're too busy. So I think that's a little bit fair.
Whoa, guys, something's happened that's never happened before. Someone disagrees with me. King Bob in the chat. I disagree with Kahuna. Once Upon a Time in the West is a well-made movie, though I personally prefer Terrence Hill westerns. I'm not sure who Terrence Hill is offhand. Is that the director?
It's from the Back It Up, Terry meme. You all know that one. Back It Up, Terry.
I don't think so.
Back It Up, Terry. The fireworks are going off.
You know it. Okay.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's a poorly made movie. I'm saying that as a guy who enjoys a slower, more contemplative film, even a slow burn, Once Upon a Time in the West is a long, boring movie. I'm sorry. Like any cool thing that happens takes like 10 minutes longer than a Sergio Leone film, like the the Man with No Name trilogy. You know how like some of those 10 scenes are like 5 minutes long. Any equivalent scene like that in Once Upon a Time in the West is even longer and less tense, and without that good musical score.
All right, AC, back to the movie. We decided floats. Go quick.
Woo woo! We got a floater in his Yes.
I will say I hate the end of this movie.
For good reason. Did we talk about historical accuracy yet?
Yeah, and actually his torture was even worse.
What's the point?
But I mean, I don't just because it happened historically doesn't mean I have to like the history of it either. But to me, whenever the good guy survives and leads his people until old age and dies like peacefully, and he gets to oversee all the change that I like that better than like dying a slow tortured
I
death
understand, but he died
and
in
then being
real
cut
life,
apart.
Dustin.
I know. I don't have to like the history. And then they spread his body across the entire lands and put his head on the bridge. Apparently, they tore his junk off in real life too, and then they burned
Wore it
his
as
insides in
necklace.
front of him.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did.
And I'm just like, well, that sucks. Why didn't they? They could have told it from his buddy's view, and then you wouldn't have to deal with that. Just like get word of it or something.
Yeah, no, Passion of the Christ, kind of a downer.
Yeah,
Kind of a downer.
I can't help but feel like if you're like war hero, your charismatic leader, the guy that's ahead of all this gets taken out that way, I'd be feeling a little bit demoralized. So I don't love
Well,
that
that
part
was
of it.
what
I know
they
it's
tried
history.
to do, but I mean, honestly, stuff like that wasn't that uncommon back then.
I just like my heroes to survive. That's all.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
it can't always be a happy story.
None of them are. Like
yeah.
none of them are.
I mean, once you change the first thing, you might as well just have. Once you change the first thing about history, you might as well just have William Wallace survive at that point.
Yeah.
I mean,
the
Rubicon's been crossed, man.
Alternate ending, alternate history ending. Just do it like Man on the High Tower. Do alternate history, the Emily cut, and I'll watch them.
Yeah, man.
And then the aliens bestowed their laser weapons on the Scots.
Yes.
And the
That's how they got
Scots
chainmail.
overthrew the tyrannical English king.
That's how they got
Right as
chainmail.
they go to kill him, he just energizes and turns Super Saiyan and takes
And then
down Britain.
200 years later, I sold them my golden steaks for $300 a pop.
Let's fucking go. Braveheart anime. William Wallace goes Super Saiyan with his claymore. Bruh. He's like taking on multiple
He goes through
knights.
like his anime girl magical girl transformation. The kilt lifts up and like
Nothing but a kilt, by the way. It's like 300 where it's just like abs and kilt, you know, with the one shoulder.
A lot of story similarities to 300 in this movie in terms of like betrayal.
Yeah, now that I mention it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as I was watching. I'm like, oh, that guy betrayed him. Oh man, that guy betrayed him again, and that's part of the reason that they lose and everything goes.
Historically, that Robert the Bruce was actually kind of based.
He didn't.
He did lead them to victory.
Yeah.
In this movie, they made him look like a beta cuck.
A beta. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And then
that last line to his father though is so good too.
Oh, what does he say to him?
He's like, at least I've taught you to hate. My hatred will die with you. Closes the door.
Oh damn, brutal. Yeah,
love it.
And then he reopens it like, so what's for dinner?
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a floater. So moving on. What were some of our discussion topics?
Justice systems
in
writing, which is relevant to Braveheart. You mentioned they ripped his balls off in real life. Mel Gibson added a bunch of Christ iconography into the death sequence.
We cannot talk about it
in the entire movie.
We are watching we are reading Shadow of the Conqueror, and I feel like this would be a very relevant part of this discussion.
It would. Yeah.
I swear this comment is my wife. I swear it's my wife saying this. It's not me saying it to my wife.
Yeah, no, two wives are in the chat. This is a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
Anyway, discuss justice. I'll be right back.
Justice.
Discussing justice systems. Kind of forgot a little bit what I was thinking about when I put that topic up. I mean that's obviously an important aspect you're going to have to think of when you're creating a new world.
Like consequences,
the alternative
that go along with it. Yeah,
exactly.
Like,
I mean,
for your hero.
Yeah, if you got a make believe world, and that's why Kuda's mentioning Shad's book. You'd imagine the laws and everything are going to be different. I mean, if you have like a very fantastical place, like you can imagine there's different laws depending on which city you're in. But those are very important and crucial into the blood of the world building, I think. Sequels are best ones.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of stories that are very popular, whether it be this or I guess maybe not. Shad's book to a degree, in part. Not that we'll get too into it, but there's a lot of movies where the justice system is sort of in place, but it doesn't necessarily apply to everybody the same way. And as a result of that, people take actions, and it makes it easy for you to get on their side because you can see how the justice is not being doled out in a even-handed way. I think it's one of the easiest ways to establish like the bad guys and the good guys, and to get the audience to absolutely side with the good guys because
by examining the justice that they deal out.
The way justice is carried out in a movie, for sure.
Yeah. Is it straight to death, or do they like just leave people crippled in a back alley like Batman? Like,
and is it
questions? You know?
Are the judges crooked, or are the politicians crooked, or the cops crooked, the jury, whatever it is?
Yeah. What kind of sentence is it? Yeah, for your vigilante, how is he sentencing everybody?
Do they rip off their kahunas? That's the real question.
Just like Braveheart, relevant. Anyway.
No
more kahunas. Yeah. But yeah, I would agree with that. Just like how is the justice dealed out? Like I actually in my comic I used that as a device with my protagonist. Like as soon as he comes back and finds out something happened, we see how he reacts to that with his new position as king. And like he's got people's children following him at that point. Like he's the king, right? So and he's like leading other people, I don't know. And their choices affect everybody. It's very relevant with stories like for instance, Breaking Bad has to end that way with Walter, with what happens to Walter, no spoilers, because of just the nature of like who he is as a character. Like it's a reverse character arc he's following.
Well, spoiler for Death Note, justice to the main character is dealt with in the end of the anime and the manga.
Yeah.
And I would say that for that character, it is justice, regardless of the end result of some of his actions. He had become the embodiment of evil, not justice like he wanted. And the ultimate justice was his fate in the end. Also, sorry, I was laughing so much because I was reading the freaking chat, dude.
Yeah.
You gotta control your
What's going on?
Control
I'm on my
your
phone.
sea
I
women.
can't read the chat.
What up, Swag King? What up?
But it's definitely a good way to like if you want to another easy way to like flesh out your world like easily is like put some thought into the justice system, because that's going to speak to some of the morals of the culture as well, because it tends to be influenced on the justice system as well.
I'd say it's one of the best direct ways to look at what a society values.
True.
For example, like we could go to real history. Let's go to ancient
Yes.
Hawaii. You know the demigod of Maui. The people talk a lot about him, but one thing they don't talk about very much is that he was a thief. That's because in Hawaii, stealing wasn't done in secret, or at least like the end result wasn't kept a secret. It was almost boastful. It was like a warrior's jest. It was,
I drink your milkshake.
Have stolen from you, and I will display it proudly because I was able to steal from you. And yeah, if you have the wait,
kahunas.
Yeah,
you could take it back. And yeah, that's part of the Maui demigod mythology is that he went and he stole fire to share it with the people. He stole a lot of different things from the gods and from dangerous creatures to give to the Hawaiian people. A lot of Hawaiian mythology involves the giving of gifts, specifically to the Hawaiians most of the time. But it's also reflected in their culture. They have a whole holiday where they're very giving to everyone, not just themselves, but to other cultures. That's when Captain Cook landed in Hawaii, and they were given many gifts because they didn't understand that it was a time of required peace. And then they went out, got caught in a storm, like, oh, let's go back. Those people were so nice.
I'm picturing them taking, like, stealing from them, like, I stole your stuff. Hey, welcome to our island. Here you go. Just like hand it over.
King Kamehameha, he stole. They have these little ships that they need that the larger old English ships would lower down. Usually 2. They were called dinghies or a variety of names, but they were very, very important because not every place had a dock where you could just dock a giant boat. And so without this boat, like this tiny little dinghy or the attachment boat, you're screwed. They lost one in the storm. They came back to get help. And King Kamehameha went in. He stole like 25 muskets and the boat and a bunch of the bayonets from the other guns. And they were just like picking their nails and like carving wood on the beach with the bayonets, just fucking mocking the English, which they took very well.
And then another great example of historical justice, the Aztecs capturing their enemies. Their warfare, they valued capturing them alive over killing them. So it wasn't about just like
sacrifice them.
Yes,
Yeah.
More gifts for their gods. That's their justice system.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like, we
Interesting.
have a
Kept
mighty
alive.
gift. The prisoner's like, oh, what? You.
Yeah.
Don't move.
Oh,
or
dang
like
it.
force
Gee
them to
whiz.
play.
They
Force them to play
dress him in
soldier.
gold,
Guys, we
spray leopard piss like cologne
Not
on.
again.
I think he's ready.
We got 5 captives. That's five of our children we don't need to sacrifice.
Yeah, exactly. The gods need it regardless. The gods
This
drink
month,
human
yeah.
blood. They drink.
It's
human
fun to be a god.
Now, the other thing, too, with justice systems is that they only exist if the people like participate to a degree.
Yeah.
And that's what we saw in Braveheart as well, that if things don't work out, people will turn. It reminds me of Robin Hood as well.
Fighting the unjust.
Yeah, Robin Hood didn't steal from the rich; he stole from the tax collectors. He was just like reclaiming what was.
Oh
taken
man,
from
that was
them.
one of the most.
It's like he still rich
Yeah.
good board. He just got their stuff back, man.
It's a fundamental
that's one of the most
story, man.
annoying things is when you hear people being like, "Well, Robin Hood stole from the rich." No. He stole the money back that was stolen from them. The taxes.
Because
Right.
Being
theft,
overtaxed.
Right? Yeah.
That could be an interesting theme for some week. Go through the different iterations of Robin Hood from Men in
There's
Tights to the
only
animated.
one worth, like, Robin Hood Men in Tights is great, but there
Haven't
is
seen
one
it.
definitively good Robin Hood film.
No, there isn't.
Spirit
Yes,
Animals
there is.
episode 3.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Wait, so what's
Coming
the
soon.
Which one are you
best one?
thinking?
Yeah.
The Kevin Costner one, Prince of Thieves.
Ah.
See, I disagree. I think it's the one with the foxes.
Delete Battsauce. Delete him.
That is
which
a good one. That is a good one.
No,
Sorry,
the Fox
that's a
one.
base
The
answer.
Fox one is fine. It doesn't hold
It's
a
not fine.
candle.
It's a little bit better than
It doesn't
fine.
hold a candle to the Kevin Costner. The Kevin Costner one is definitive. You go lick a fox's butthole, dude. I am correct.
Are we talking some Waterworld here? Is that going to be a post-apocalyptic week too?
Kevin Costner week.
Costner week, Waterworld, calling it.
Hey,
I
let's
love
kill
Waterworld.
guys. Let's deal a deadly blow to Justin. Let's
I
watch
don't-
Dances
don't-
with Wolves.
No.
Ooh.
No. What's that, like 9
A
hours? I'll never get
19-hour
back?
long film.
Just the entire box set of Band of Brothers. Let's go. And then we explicitly have to watch the bonus content so that we all cry.
The thing is, though, with TV shows, I feel like there's something, at least with the way my mind works, it's like a book. If you have 5 chapters that are 5 pages versus 1 chapter that's 25, I'm like, oh, chapter's done. Oh, chapter's done. And I get through 25 pages like that. But if it's 25, I'm like, oh, man.
You need
go
a
outside.
checkpoint and a congratulations to finish a long movie.
There's something to, like, if a movie's broken up into episodes, kind of like a TV show, like what we're saying, the mini series.
Let's watch Braveheart, the 5-part miniseries. Let's go.
Did they make that?
Let's go.
No,
I don't know. I'm not well
Holy
versed in all the different cinema art pieces that are in the world.
Justin, if it's not exciting, do we need to put like a screen of someone playing like Temple Run or something above the screen while you're watching?
I have it
What
open.
do you need?
It's
It's right there. Yeah.
Do we have more to
It's
say
Subway
about
Surfer, get
justice
it right.
systems, boys? Justin, what do you have to say about justice systems?
Yes.
What do I have to say that I
Justice.
haven't already said?
I don't know. I was just playing up your name.
Oh yeah, that's what my
No,
name. That's
yeah,
what it
anybody have
means.
anything.
My name is from JUSTUS. I think it's Greek or Latin. Just means
Justice.
justice. Yeah, it's just a got
Yes.
through time
Justice.
became Justin. Yeah,
You chose the justice card. And I made you guys choose cards. That was awesome.
Yeah, and that's why, because
Justice.
it's like, hey, it's my name. I'll pick that one.
It didn't say justice on the card
Drinking water,
anywhere.
man, damn.
Oh, it didn't?
No, it didn't.
I
It
was-
was the bastard. You chose the
What?
bastard, and it turned into the justice card.
That's even better. Why did I choose
Yeah, I
the
know.
bat? I probably was like, who naughty word that one.
Yeah, the bastard. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
funny.
And it turns out to be your name. It was crazy. Yeah.
It's the bastard.
the bastard.
Wow.
So,
It's like,
Yeah, we could-
I named this card after my friend. No.
so we can learn a lot from cultures and like stories and stuff from their justice systems. You can learn a lot about a character too, like if they don't want to kill them, like how they find solutions to the problem. I think the anime Demon Slayer actually has like the main character is basically exercising each of the demons. He's trying to redeem them in their final moments, I think, is like,
Or
the
at
way he
least
goes about it.
acknowledge them.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just learn a lot about the
Demon Slayer's
character.
lame.
Battsauce. Seabats. Like, I don't know.
Rein him in.
Go get him. Come on, Seabats. Go get that boy.
He's free right now in his military grade baller suite over there. Military
But-
style.
What are you talking? It's a hotel.
Yep. Exactly.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're not home. Anyway, get him when he gets. Anyway, but no, justice systems
Yeah,
like
I'm out on my tour bus.
in a
Yeah.
live action like non fantasy setting, it's interesting because it's usually a snapshot of the belief system of the day, and whatever, like especially like court case movies, lawyer movies, or where that's an important element of the movie. It's always interesting to see the belief systems. Like, is the justice system sufficient to give people true justice in this situation, or does it fall short? That's where you get films that are about vigilantism, or like that's always a moral quandary with like Batman and such. It's like, what he's, or Matt Murdock, Daredevil, is actually better about that because he's a lawyer. He knows the law that he actively breaks, and he plays both sides of it. It's a pretty strong contradiction, but it makes for some really interesting storytelling and character work.
Vigilantism comes in, it needs to come in when there's a failure of the justice system. And, Daredevil is a perfect example of somebody who has a complete understanding of the law and understands that what he's doing is a necessity because the law is not able to do everything that it needs to without the assistance of somebody kind of working on the side breaking it.
Well, like the Wild West stories have a similar idea. It's basically like we are creating a semblance of the law out here, but this is in some ways a lawless land. So in some ways the justice will always come down to the individual or individuals who feel that the law is unfit to produce a justified result. And so Westerns are another fun way to explain that.
I don't know, man.
She's really big into preaching. What can I say?
Yeah, I think you also have to be very careful with your vigilantism. You want to make sure that your newfound fix for the broken justice system doesn't end up being worse than the justice system. But
Battsauce Coon.
well, it's like with Matthew Murdock understanding the law and kind of doing vigilantism correctly. Batman, another person that does it correctly, right? You have another character like the Punisher, who's I think you'd say that he's not doing it correctly, but that's not really why we follow the Punisher. We're just like, he's on a revenge path and we just want him to cause chaos. But we wouldn't say what the Punisher is doing is good necessarily. We definitely understand the character. We're definitely like, yeah, I get it. But you'd also be like, yeah, but like a better person would come in and, deal justice more like Batman probably would. But we're not watching the Punisher for a better person. We're watching the Punisher to kick ass and take names.
Well, I think society, like different times in different societies, requires different kinds of justice. I think, despite my belief system, that there are times when you need someone, like if the system is so far corrupt, has gone so far down, justice is unmet, and criminals are not only not punished, but they're praised and even like lifted up.
Well, so depends which Punisher story, I guess, right? Because there's some Punisher stories where it's like, yeah, the justice system has gotten that bad, and you need something like the Punisher. But
Yeah.
I mean, the Punisher, like many comic book characters, the story's been told 1,000 times. I mean, there's a ridiculous comic where the Punisher, I think he guns down or beats the crap out of a jaywalker. You know,
That's crazy.
Jaywalking.
So it's like some stories, the Punisher is just like he's going way overboard. A lot of stories, but it's fun though. It's fun. It's like
With the Punisher though, the one thing that I didn't really like, but it made sense given the character, is that he's clearly wrestling with the fact that he's not following the justice system. He's taking it into his own hands because that spirit of vengeance and everything else. But you can tell he's tormented by it. At least I think I saw Warzone is the one I'm thinking of, where he's not dealing with it all very well. It's not like he's like, I'm in the right, guys.
Yeah.
It's like it's clearly grinding down his
Are we the
mental
baddies?
state.
Are we the
Are
baddies?
we the baddies?
Are we the baddies?
You're the British.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. But
Self-insertion.
I
after
think
this.
last
After
point.
this.
I think.
After this.
I think it's an interesting way to put characters in, like from a storytelling perspective, into a very challenging situation, because it's not like in an unjust system or a lack of justice kind of in the system can put a character in a very challenging position where he has no direct adversary. Think of like Game of Thrones, like when spoilers for the movies and the books, when Tyrion gets arrested for the death of Joffrey, justice is failing him. Even with his what was it? I demand a trial by combat scene. Even that attempt to free himself from the punishment of a crime he didn't commit fails. But it does a lot to advance the story. It shows a lot of characters for who they truly are. And I thought I love when a scene regarding a lack of justice or good justice can do that in a movie or a book.
Yeah. Well, then it also says, I mean, in this case, your justice system also talks about your belief system, that you believe that, or the people believe that justice can be settled by God determining who's going to win the fight. Right.
Also, the fact that you don't have to be the one to fight for your justice. I feel like that kind of defeats the whole point. But it's like, who has the most money? I hire that 7.5 foot tall monster. Who do you have? I have a skinny foreigner with a poisoned spear. I hope it's enough.
Get you Michelle Rodriguez. She'll take care of it.
Dude, Michelle Rodriguez gets the pass, man. I like Michelle Rodriguez.
Oh, okay.
She was the voice of one of the female Marines in Halo 2, and I liked her. I like her in movies sometimes. It's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because of the class that she's playing in that movie. She's a barbarian. She's got to be able to. She gets the manhandle.
Yeah,
characters.
that made sense.
Describe her
realized
manhandle. Describe her manhandle. What? Doesn't sound right.
But whenever
I have a manhandle.
We need a barbarian, I don't go, Michelle Rodriguez. It's not the first human that comes across.
Short Mexican girl. That's who I picture.
Yeah.
Actually, I've dated a few of those. They're not entirely off there. Actually.
Yeah, barbarian's not a terrible pick for them.
He's more interested in how she handles a man. Oh wow. Okay. I'm not sure who she's referencing.
I said self-insertion, and you guys went Michelle Rodriguez.
I did not hear you say self-insertion.
This is how we self-insert in our stories. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
So also, AC, you
let's
promised
talk
me really strong orc self-insertion in your books. I didn't see any orc insertion in your book. Sorry.
There's 0 insertion. Yeah.
Tremendous lack
let's
of
talk
insertion.
about character self-insertion, right? And what we're referring to, is when you take the author, the writer takes their own self and puts it into a characters or whatever, right? And there's many forms of this, right? And it's also kind of like almost impossible to not put yourself in if you're writing something, to not put yourself in some way into a character.
Yep.
Obviously, like if you're writing a cybernetic frog, like probably not much of yourself is in there. But I'm sure maybe some of the personality or something. I don't know. I've read it.
And the cybernetic frog is fighting villains, right? Those are all characters.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then but there does get a point because it gets thrown out a lot. It gets like, especially with the woke video games or whatever, people will say like it's a self-inserted character. And they say it as a negative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's not always a negative.
But,
yeah. But I think when it's mentioned, and especially in these cases, it is a bad thing. It's just we have to look at what we actually mean when we kind of just throw that word out there. Like maybe a better word would be used, because what we're saying is like you're putting like sometimes your exact self, or you're kind of just using the character to like propagandize your own ideas.
Or just live out the fantasy of your own personal wish fulfillment.
Yeah. I think I would say those are the two different ones, right? When you're using your own a character to propagandize like your own political agendas, or like how you said it. I think those are like the two negative character inserting stuff. So
I still think it could be fine though if the person writing it is somebody that you're like, I like this person and the stuff they do is interesting to me or funny or whatever it is. I almost feel like if you are that sort of a human in reality, not having self-insertion on some level would be a misstep. If you have interesting experiences that would translate well, or interesting.
Well, let's do it this way. I kind of get where you're going with that.
Yeah,
I kind of get where you're going with that, but what would be a good example of this? Because let's try and narrow that.
Record of the Paladins.
Wait,
I haven't read it yet, so can we not use that as an example?
Guys, can we not? Like, seriously?
It's fresh in my mind after like 24 hours of mowing.
So basically anything and everything Norm Macdonald has ever been in, he's more or less just playing himself. And I'm sure he's not the only actor where this is the case. And
Jason Statham has never been anyone except Jason Statham.
I have a feeling in real life he probably is like, hey guys, want to come in and quilt? That's how I imagine.
Yeah, but like in all Norm, let's talk about Norm Macdonald, right?
Jason.
In all the Norm Macdonald movies, he's obviously very flawed. He usually plays a loser, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, right there, it's yeah. I mean, that's fine. That's fine. It's like when and again, I'm Dunce Whisperer is probably more of me in any character than anything else I've written, and it's like, yeah, because you're kind of the butt of the joke. I think what Kahuna is mentioning is when it's just like you're writing yourself as like the shit.
Yeah,
you were like the best thing to walk ever. Like you're literally doing it to like jerk off yourself.
There was this comic years ago. There was this comic years ago. It was about how these girls were experimented on when they were young and given the powers of cats. And then they got these weird puberty-induced lesbian powers, and they were at like these girls were killing all of these adults, and like that's how the comic ends with all of that. And I'm like, I feel like this is just you're putting your trauma on the page in a very non-interesting way. And it was like none of the characters acted like people. They acted like, like how people like, when you have an argument with someone later, you're like, oh, that's what I should have said. They'll write conversations like that, where they always get the last one up. And then it's a lot of these people are not self-aware enough to realize that they are inserting themselves as characters in these stories and then turning those characters into the villains of the story. They don't realize it because they're not self-aware.
Those people are like, they're not people you would want to hang out with or that you find interesting or funny.
Yeah.
But if it's, wasn't the Nick Cage movie sort of a self-insert, that new one he did, where it was like the overwhelming awesomeness of being Nicolas Cage was the name of it or whatever?
Yeah, but I feel I haven't seen it, but that sounds self-deprecating. Like it sounds self-aware. Like it's obviously their stick is I'm being self-absorbed.
If the shtick was he's just awesome and
it's like it's a joke. Okay, it's like in the back of my book.
I'd still want to watch it. I'd still be like, let's go. This sounds hilarious.
Pull up my book. Pull up my book. Flip it around.
There's a Weird Al movie that's a literal self-insert too.
Oh, I read this on the bottom. Yeah. This one. Well, this isn't quite the same, but it's pretty funny.
Yes, that is the joke, right? It is like I'm pretending to
right.
I'm pretending to be those people that are like, I am the best thing to walk this earth. You're just lucky to breathe the same air as me. You know. A lot of these characters. A lot of these writers that tend to like self-insert themselves in a negative way. They tend to be using these stories as like a therapy, and very often you'll find out that these other people walking around them, they just all suck, and they're all fake, and they're all just like not like they're not cool, right? They're not cool like the main character is cool.
There was this Wonder Woman comic I read a while back when comics started going bad, like really bad. And it was like like Wonder Woman just beat the crap out of some guy in the crowd. And they're like, "What Wonder Woman, what are you doing?" She's like, he was misogynistic. and they're like, what she did, they're like, but she didn't say no, Wonder Woman. He didn't say anything. He's like, I felt his gaze. I'm like,
oh.
Haste.
No. A man looked at me.
I'll put it to you this way. I agree with you. Self-inserts are usually bad, but I think there's potential there where they could be hilarious and awesome if you have the right person. I can't think of an example off the top of my head.
No. An example that's not a comedy because it's obviously a joke.
Comedy is the easiest way.
But that it would become a comedy if it wasn't. I feel like it's always going to be a comedy, even if the person's dead serious.
Has to be, yeah.
Okay, but they're usually using themselves as the butt of the joke, though.
Okay.
That's not like the same.
Up, yeah,
that's like typical comedy right there.
Beating up people and saving the cat and all that could still be funny, even if they're completely serious about it. I think there's potential there.
Yeah.
So you mean unintentionally funny?
Well, yeah, I guess that would be it. But that's still
so that'd be bad. But that would be bad.
No,
that's my bad.
No, Super Bad. It is a comedy, but Super Bad is a pretty good example of that actually too. Because Jonah Hill started writing that movie like when he was like 14 or 15, and he's basically just playing a alternate version of himself, essentially.
Yeah, basically.
Wait, he wrote that?
Yeah, he was one of the writers. Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie since it came out. Does it hold up, or is it kind of cringe?
It's fine.
Probably not.
It's a lot better than some of the contemporary movies that came out at the time. Like, there's a whole bunch of comedies that are like Knocked Up is not funny. It just isn't. It's not.
I don't even remember it. It
is boring. It is slow. It is cringe. It's not even like even if you like Seth Rogen, it is not funny Seth Rogen. It's hard useless. What a terrible.
Good luck. Good luck, Bob.
Weed.
Chat, can you guys give us, maybe you guys have an example of the character, maybe a famous character that is a self-inserted character? That'd be fun. What did Herman just say about me?
One that's a clear self-insert, but is not humorous and still works, right? That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
A positive self-insert character that is not a comedic character.
No,
or comedy.
If you're just to talk about, so we don't even need examples of good ones. I don't think we're gonna find a good one, but if we can think of anything off the
Bible.
Is an autobiography a self-insert?
No, it's not. It's
yes.
It's not a fictitious self-insert.
But what if you like
It's not a
tweak little
fictitious, yeah.
things like they did with Braveheart, like just little changes?
8 Mile. It's similar to the real life
That's
story,
fair.
but it's not quite. That's a self-insert.
That's
There
fair.
you go.
There you go. Yeah, that's fair.
That movie's just fine.
You guys want me over? That movie's cringe. You won me over. You're right.
That's cringe. I'm won over. That's awesome.
We won!
We got him, boys.
Suck it!
We cringed him.
I have not read the Dark
Shut
Tower
up.
series.
Justin has been uncringed.
Never. Freedom.
So do you guys prefer
Unless somebody
digital?
can come up with an example. Hey, chat, people watching this, I challenge you. Come up with an example. Comment it to us. We'll see.
Stop
We'll see
using
if it
primary
if it can be
religious
tested to see.
texts. CPATs.
What is she saying?
The Quran, the
Hold
Bible.
Iran, yeah. The Quran.
This person says Dante's Inferno.
Emerald
the
tablets.
Quran's super cringe, bro.
Emerald tablets.
Is Dante's Inferno an unapologetically self-insert wishful moment?
Ooh, that is. I think it is. I think it is.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Good example.
1,000%. Yes.
Okay, and it's bad.
And he's,
Or is it good? Does it
Is that
say
good or bad?
in that aspects, well, it's good for a lot of reasons, but the self-insert is pretty hilarious. that
He's
he
trying to
ends
be
up
comedy.
being worthy to be in front of a no. It's everything was called a comedy back then. Every story was a comedy back then.
Any story that was
or
not
every, like,
real
Christmas
was not a
series.
real life story. It's
Yeah.
like it's a comedy because it's not real.
Yeah. That was before that they called comedies as like humorous. Like obviously Dante's Divine Comedy is not funny, but
Not to you.
yes. It's just no, it does and it's like when you look at it now, it does kind of come out cringy, right? Because like the dude simps over Beatrice the whole time.
Anyway,
That's true.
I was about to make. I can't.
Oh
make
yeah,
that
comedy
joke.
men
Holy
happy
crap,
ending.
dude!
Yeah.
I need to calm down. I can't believe I almost said that joke.
Wow, dude, don't say the N word here, right?
1984.
I
Anyway,
guess I would just need
about-
to see a list. to go
Anyway,
through. I'm sure
about
there's gotta
that
be
comedy massage. Anyway, now let's-
Yeah, happy ending massage. Oh, he disappeared. He bailed.
Oh, I thought you booted him.
one. You walked the plank.
No, but we'll go with that.
You walked the plank. All right,
Bitch.
but what? Oh man, those things lag like crazy on the phone. But that's what I got. That's what I got for the self-inserted character. So
Okay. Do you guys prefer digital or print?
I mean, I always go print, but there are some serious advantages to having digital. I love campaigns that offer both at a discounted price. Like, even if you get all of the above, audiobook, digital copy of it, and physical at a
Bro,
discounted price.
I just
I would always-
deleted like every tab I had open. I don't know what I did.
Control
I made that
50.
I made that dumb
Get it back.
freaking joke. I
Go
knew
to
shit
your
to made
mic.
it, and then the internet is like, get rid of him.
you know you have the sound effect on your mic, right?
What?
I do. Yeah.
So
What were you saying, Justin?
Oh, we were just talking about print versus digital, and I was saying that I like whenever you have the opportunity to get print and digital and the audiobook all in one at a discount. I like having the options. It's nice to have digital for convenience and for streams, so you can present the material on stream. Me and Kahuna have covered some comics in the past, and being able to
We'll
show
do
them
more of
ra-
those in the future. We'll do more
rather
of those in
than
the future too.
doing like, look on this page, there's a picture. See the hang on, where's the picture? Instead of doing that, where you can actually have the art on full display and you can move around. Digital is really handy in that sense, but physical, I don't know, there's something about an actual book in your hands that's nice. And you put it on your shelf and look at it.
Now,
Hey,
to
that's
be
a
fair,
real
no one has ever said it better than Stan Lee. Comics are like boobs. You see them online, they're fine, but honestly, we all want to have you want to feel a comic in your hand. Real quote.
That's true. Yeah.
He was
So I'll say
incredibly
what
based.
what prompted this question though was actually it was Eric July, because the Ripperverse comics don't have a digital option, and that's him. You know, he believes, and
I
I
never
don't know if he's
realized
right or
that till
not.
right now.
That is kind of odd in the modern day, actually.
Yeah. Huh.
It is. So he just,
Is
I
it
mean,
an
he believes,
anti-theft
and I'm not saying
measure?
he's
Is that
wrong.
the idea?
That's part of the. I think that's what he thinks it is. It's to prevent people from more easily downloading it right away. Um,
So many assets on this comic. Love it.
Yeah.
So many assets.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, there's no point in worrying about pirating. It's going to happen regardless. Because, like, think about it. If you have no digital version, somebody could easily just buy your book
Scan
and
it.
take high definition pictures of every page.
Yeah, but does it
if they hate you enough?
doesn't knock off a good percentage? It's just like the question just interests me because my instant thought is people are gonna pirate it anyways, but the Rippaverse has seen a lot of success. At the same time, manga going more and more digital as the day goes on, right? But those are also,
if you can't always find physical versions of manga, especially translated.
Yeah.
It does make it easy. I have a lot of trouble with digital books as well. I have a whole bunch of books, even a lot of Iron Age books I got on digital, and I have a lot of, I haven't finished a single one yet. It's not for me, man. It's rough.
It's tough. One thing that's a big draw too is, I mean, especially if you got, tight budgets, digital's so much cheaper. I see some digital offerings. I mean, the books especially, 99-cent sales constantly.
Yeah.
And the comics, I saw one. I think the comic was $24 before shipping, and then the digital was $5. And it's like, man, that's a huge price difference. So it is really tempting. Huge. Big price. I mean, it's massive. That's like a third the cost of, in some cases, maybe even more. And so the temptation to just go digital, I mean, it's there, and that's something
especially if you don't live in the same country as the person providing
that.
it.
And if you don't know the property, if you're just taking like on a whim, like a perfect example, I got a copy of Pistol Shrimp 1 and 2, and
Katie, calm down.
It's called Pistol Shrimp. How bad could it be? But I don't know the artist.
That sounds like a weird, Polynesian sex position. Pistol Shrimp.
It's not. Anyway. I thought it was a Western about a shrimp, but I guess we're just different wavelengths. But
anyway, you go on home there and you give her the good old, Pistol Shrimp.
Those are both two different stories that exist on different pages on Find My Comic.
I'm picturing that little mantis that has the little finger that hits real hard. That's what I'm picturing. So yeah, I went digital in that case because I wasn't certain. Whereas there's certain properties that I'm like AC's book that's coming out. I'm like, I need that physical. I don't even know if there's a digital offering. I believe there is, right? Because you're covering all bases.
Yes, there's digital with an audio, everything. Yeah, and that's going to be a very colorful book. So I'm really excited to see that in full color.
Yeah, we have all colors represented in this comic.
I want that in my hands. I don't want a digital copy,
especially blacks, but not pointing out anyone in particular, but the color black is well represented in this comic.
And green.
Well, I guess a big thing though is I don't want to pay all the money for necessarily on 20-page comics. Right. I like when a comic is big chunker, 70 plus pages, right?
I don't mind a shorter comic, but the cost associated is pretty rough.
We're backwards. We're reversed from movies and comics. I like them thick. You like your movies long. I like short movies, and you like long movies. We're opposites with that.
That's dope.
Like if a comic's 300 pages, sure, give me
bring it. Yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, bring it.
That's why I hope a lot of the indie creators, I hope what they do is once they start to get to 5 chapters, 10 chapters or whatever, and then they can start selling a heavy volume. Just at that point you're just pasting together the art, and you're kind of having a cooler option for people, right? I feel like you cast a wider net with people.
For sure. Private American, this is the first issue number 1, and it's 40 to 70 pages. 72 or 73 page comic of actual
Yeah.
story. That's a like this is a thick comic book in the Iron Age / indie
Right.
comic
Right.
space. And I think it does a lot for the pacing. I think it allows the artist to take their time and tell a more complete, less rushed kind of story.
I feel
which
like
I
there's
really
a
appreciate.
really good halfway step between these creations too. Instead of going full comic, be like, okay, I'm gonna do a sort of like Anvil, where you have some storytelling and it's just written out like a book, but it's shorter,
Mm.
and then you have a page of artwork, and then you have some text, and then a page of artwork. So if you can't get to the
Yeah.
point where you have enough cash to fund an entire book, you can kind of show people what it would be like, and it's a midway point. It's sort of like people that want to go into animation. I was talking to Daniel P. Riley about this, and animation's incredibly expensive. And then I think of sort of like what Ruthless does, or the show Way of the House Husband,
Mm.
where it's not full animation. It's basically one
a
artwork, and they have
yeah.
a little bit of movement here or there just to add some interest, or like one frame change. Simple stuff, and then it's just narrated over, and they have audio, and there's like these half measures that I guess the market must not be there for people to not be doing them. But in my head, and I'm thinking like
Yeah.
that would be attainable for most people, and it's going to be more interesting than some
Well,
of the
you'd be
alternatives.
selling
and
a
more
whole
cost-effective.
different. Yeah, you'd be selling like a whole different medium thing, and then it's like, well, the thing is like you'd have to call that something else, right? Like, so are you referring to, as one of your examples, kind of like one page of words with one image?
Yeah, something like that. So it's like a halfway,
that would
because
be cool.
comics.
That'd be great. That would be great happy medium. But you wouldn't call that a comic. You wouldn't call it a novel at that point. So it's like, how do you sell that to people, right? Because you'd have to come up with a whole different name, and then you'd have to sell that. Then you have to advertise that name out to people to get it into people's like lexicon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could be a trailblazer. You could, forge your way to freedom.
I could see like one commission of art per chapter for like my full length. That'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Absolutely.
the art,
If
like
we're
think about
talking-
it. The each art would be like the chapter. Like you have the chapter name, and it's like the chapter cover, right? This is the cover for the chapter. Yeah.
And there's two ways you can go about it. You could either have this like beautiful, amazing, super rich, detailed artwork, which that would probably get very expensive very fast. Or you could do like a comic panel where it's beautiful and it's well drawn and there's something to it, but it's not this, full scale book cover quality painting, so to speak. So it helps cut down on cost, but it gives people an idea of what is in your head. So you're not just having to imagine and hope that your imagination lines up with what you're reading and all that sort of stuff. And give it a name, sure.
Well, then you run into another issue though with that, because like
so many
cost,
issues.
right? Obviously, because when typically when people when they're writing a comic, they're writing that story kind of differently than they would write a novel, right?
100%.
Typically. So at that point, if you're writing a story to be a novel but with a piece of art in between each page, why spend the extra money for all that art? Like there wouldn't be enough incentive, I think.
I think it's just
it's a bit of a stylistic choice, but I've noticed there has been an uptick in the trend of not just writing a novel, not just writing a comic, but the earlier iteration of both the pulps. Both of these I would consider more pulp than real novel. Like Long Moonlight by Razor Fist. It's not every page. It's not even every 5 pages, but there's art.
The short Moonlight.
All throughout. Sometimes at the beginning of chapters, sometimes in the middle for a character description. Otter does I think Otter did even better in his book. He has illustrations by 2 different people. Some of them are entire full or 2-page scenes.
What's going on in the chat?
The chat is unhinged. Don't read it, bro. It's insane.
Kahuna is just
But he'll have this, and then he'll have a small little character illustrations taking up an eighth of the page. I think there is an in between, because both of these books are very small, very short word count, very digestible. The art adds a little bit of personal flavor, a touch of that artistic element we like in comics. Pulps may be I think we need to see more of them. That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
So let me summarize
AC,
this
put
chat
on
right
the
now. if I
Everlast
can
chastity
kinda
belt.
I know. We were just
if I
talking
can
about
use this
Robin Hood.
correctly.
Too.
Is King Bob trying to go trans now so he can be a sea wife with the dark ones?
He's gonna be a sea
Is
wife.
that what
Yeah,
I
it'll be
got?
one of
Is King Bob going to be the cross-dressing mascot of this channel?
it'll be a sea wife. Every good
He's
Navy
gonna-
vessel needs a sea wife.
He's going to be like the old Greg of the Iron Seas podcast.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Look, there's more. Like,
You ever drink whiskey
there's
out
more
of an
than
old
just
shoe?
watchers. Yeah, I was gonna say there's more than just watching our show. There's also the chat. It's just a whole different
dude.
level.
That was
It's-
whenever I first started into these things, even still up until recently, I would come for the chat. I'd hang out for the
Yeah.
show, but it was more of a spot to like hang out. And yeah, you can interact from time to time if you feel like it, if they're talking about something that catches your interest, but it's inevitable that every single stream you watch is going to have a portion of the show that they're talking about something you either don't know about, don't care about, or what have you. And if you
Or
have the
frankly,
chat,
the chat is just more
in there.
interesting.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
I've
that
noticed
too.
not all chats are very good. I've seen chats where they were
This is
kind
true.
of just like boring. I'm like,
yeah,
say something
very
spicy.
true.
I don't know, cause like call me a slur. I don't know. Do something not
Dude,
boring.
Or
Mix
chats
it
where
up. Yeah.
the people in there don't talk to each other, especially the smaller ones.
Yeah.
That's that one's a little bit weird, but yeah, whenever the people are having fun, that's good stuff, man.
That's
I'm
what
all
it's
about
there
that.
for. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I even like the bigger channels that are like doing all night long live streams and stuff. You know, they
Oh,
just
those
have like
people are insane, dude.
it's crazy. But you go into like some of those and it's very clearly just like a 24-hour video that they just have on a loop, and they have all these bots that like kind of, oh, this person subscribed, this person's following, you know what I mean? But like even then you can still have good conversations with people in those chats, like some that you wouldn't suspect, because think about it, it's a big enough channel that there's a lot of people, but at the same time it's going for so long that there's not like everybody at once, so it's like a normal amount of traffic.
I
Did
agree.
Justin die?
No, he said
No,
he
he's
had to go
just-
real quick.
He's gonna take a poop.
He's
Yeah, he was reading the chat. He's like, "I'll be right back. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
talk to my wife."
yeah.
Well, I want to say this with him. He mentioned like comics having like an audio or like emotion. I think something he mentioned happening along with that.
Oh yeah, he's
Or
talking about
digital.
kind of well, like more like motion comics is what he's talking
So
about.
yeah, have you ever seen motion comics? Actually, they exist.
Yeah, they do. I've seen.
Yeah, they're just really.
Yeah.
There's like an app where I remember the Overwatch comics were done like that, and it
Yeah.
definitely was more enjoyable. But I'm like, how much more work did they have to put into that to like not get people to
sometimes
view
not
it?
a
you know?
lot. Like some of
Mhm.
them not a lot. You don't even because you don't need that much movement. Sometimes they don't even usually animate the motion of like the mouths opening and closing during dialogue. They'll just like
Yeah.
have the characters like floating a little bit and like getting closer or
Mhm.
further apart, or like particle effects in the background. Just BS really.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's just again, I think it's another thing where it's just like how many people know what a motion comic is? How do you get that sold out to people? Yeah.
Well, like
Yeah,
we're
that's like a
seeing
whole nother
we're
thing
seeing
about
a
marketing.
return to old ideas and the expression of new ideas. Now, like everybody, like we were talking about the length of a comic earlier. I don't mind a short comic. I prefer a longer comic. But when you have enough comic, like when you have enough to make a collection, like a collected edition, freaking do it! Look at this thing, hardcover.
I mean, that's kind of
Look how
that's what I
thick
was
this
saying.
boy is.
Sick.
I love when a book is like this.
Is that
has
a comic?
It's Bond Dessinée. It's Bouncer. It's about a one-armed bouncer at an old Western saloon, and it's basically like the harshest Western comic I've ever read.
What is
And it's all French, so the art is really, really
Sick.
expressive and interesting, and they're not afraid to make Indians bad people sometimes. It's good.
what does
Yeah.
Bandai's name mean?
Bond Dessinée, it's French
Bon
comic.
Dessinée. Yeah, what does it mean?
Bond Dessinée!
A bon Dessinée.
Bomb Dessinée! We bombed Disney, yo! Anyway.
Bondi's nuts. What?
Ay. Got
Wow.
you.
Yeah.
So what does it mean? What does it mean?
Do you know?
My wife finally joined the chat.
Mon
She finally showed up.
She hasn't
Yeah.
been there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well,
She hasn't been very
Yeah.
aggressively flirting with you for the last half hour.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, Justin, what do you call a comic in Kenya?
Is this a joke or a fact? Chat, is this a joke or a fact?
I'm gonna go with fact. Answer.
Fact.
Oh,
Can you get off these nuts? Anyway, sorry. Let's go.
Boom!
That's all.
Oh!
I got it now.
It's like a 2-year-old joke.
I was reading as I was listening. Bandaisanne means drawn strips. How's that for
drawn
wet
strippers?
blanket on that term?
Speaking of wet blankets.
So do we get through all of our topics for the week?
Historically accurate. What?
What else?
Oh, we
I
should
was gonna
also
say,
end
is
it.
there
We
anything
should
we
also
talked about?
end with the trailer for your deal, AC.
Oh.
Yeah, and we got a new trailer. But I was gonna say, let's talk about what we got going on for next week. We got American movies, huh? It's a little
Yeah,
bit of the 4th of July.
yeah, it's the first,
Release close
and
to.
not Colin. It's the 1st of July.
The first.
Yeah, so what
Not
movies
the
did we
Colin
have
first.
picked?
I got the list right here.
Did
Fellas. I
anybody-
got the list right here.
Yeah.
I do. I gotta get to
End
it.
it before
Scrolling down.
AC gets
I'm
screwed.
vamping to fill space while I'm looking for it, but I got it. For the 1st of July week, we got
It's happening.
Rocky 1, 2, 3. We got Rocky 4, where I believe he fights a Canadian, some Canadian fella.
You know, ultimately it doesn't matter because it's Rocky and he's a loser. The guy he fights is a loser, so ultimately Canadian kind of works.
Oh, okay. Second up, I found a treasure and it's national. National treasure with one of my
National,
favorite
yeah.
actors of all time.
Yes. It's national.
Not Kevin Costner, but yes, Nicolas Cage, who was in one of the greatest
Waterworld?
movies ever created, Waterworld, and another one which was Con Air, which is just a fantastic movie.
Wait,
Next up, we got Mr.
Wait.
Chuck Norris.
City of Angels?
Nicolas Cage is in Waterworld?
No.
No,
he's not.
I
He
said
should be,
Kevin
though.
Costner. You said Waterworld, and then I was
Oh,
just
yeah.
kinda,
Oh,
yeah.
And then I said City of Angels. Yeah.
It is
it
the
was a good
short
time.
bus after all.
It is indeed bouncing around. This is what we do. Next up, we have a Chuck Norris, Chuck Norris film. Who's more American than
Oh,
Chuck Norris?
AC, no!
Oh, AC's been kidnapped.
No!
It's that time of the show.
Where are your
which is-
pants, AC? Andy, no! Oh,
Invasion.
dude, she actually got him. I don't think he expected that. Unplugged his damn headphones. Anyway,
What just happened?
I believe that was what women call non-consensual sexual advance. Now,
I thought men were the hunters.
your wife is blonde and slightly Nordic, so you know.
She's got Nordic. It's literally 50% of her DNA. So
Honor. Also, CVAT says honorary sea wife until you consummate your marriage. What? What is happening?
He's talking about King Bob. King Bob.
No! This
I
is
didn't
not the
know.
consolation I wanted.
I did not
That's
expect sea wives to be a
Feels
thing,
good.
but here we
here
are.
we are. Tell your wife she's a sea wife.
Honorary.
Honorary sea wife.
That's right.
All right, what's the rest of the movies, huh?
Can we
I
find
don't know,
can
this
we
is-
find a short, brown, attractive woman to be the next freaking
Sea wife for Kahuna.
please?
Kahuna wife. Kahuna
I'm talking
wife.
about
Where you
brown
at?
women.
You gotta find that Kahuna
Oh no,
wife.
I have to make one of those cringe videos that's like guys like, this is what I want in a woman. This very specific thing.
Yes. And I'm uncompromising and unwilling to change myself. Who wants to get some?
Also, she better look really good, even if I don't.
Yeah, that last part.
Yeah, that's the best.
Or like that old.
It
oh,
doesn't matter
this
that
is my
I
cat.
made $0.
She better like cats because this is my cat, Mr. Whiskers.
What is it? So, isn't there a Mr. Whiskers?
Whoa, your boss is a 5-foot Filipino. Okay,
Mr.
yeah.
Whisker sounds like a bad guy from Hudson Hawk, even though they're all
God.
candy bar themed.
There's literally a cartoon or something like something in Mr. Whiskers. It's stuck
Is
in
it-
my head. There's a
I'm
really
waiting for-
dumb song that goes along with it too. I can't remember.
Oh no.
It's good that I don't remember it. My brain is trying, and it's stupid. It
Disney.
forgot it for a
King,
reason.
King Bob coming in with the reality here. This
Oh
is what I
yeah,
wanted to
you're
know.
right. There was a Mr.
Availability.
Whisker. It's a
Availability.
rabbit. They have his age. Yeah, it's kind of weird. What show is this from now? Character's name
Well,
is Man Whiskers.
Seabass, frankly, I just have to prove that I'm more masculine than her husband, and then the women will flock. That's how it works. Obviously,
The Hawaiian way. You
the
take
Hawaiian way.
Big up. Yeah, you take and then you boast.
take and boast. Yes.
That's right.
I am the Kahuna.
I am coming for your Filipino women.
If I said I fuck your bitch, just know I mean
Hold on, Billy Bob Sack. If you clip that, I'm going to end your online existence.
The Hawaiian way.
We were in the middle of talking
off
about.
the rails.
Wait. Pause. Recap. We were talking about movies. Let's get off of me stealing married Filipino women.
Brandy
No.
and Mr. Whiskers. Is that it?
Yes. Damn it. Now it's stuck in my head.
Yes.
Now it's stuck
You're,
in my head.
you're welcome.
Oh
Something
my
in
gosh.
Mr. Whiskers.
That song could use a
Heavily,
breakdown.
what's-
That's all I know.
Yeah.
What's the other movie?
Oh, Independence Day.
There are 4 films. Number 1 was Rocky 4.
We will not go quietly into the night.
Freedom.
Yep.
Number 2 is The Treasure That's National. Number 3 is
That
a
movie's
Chuck
so
Norris
funny.
film, a little Chuck Norris flick called Invasion USA, which
It's
I'm about 40
time.
minutes into it. And it's nuts.
Dude, that movie is wild. Also,
Whatever-
AC,
Oh,
remember AC? Do you remember? Or
Let him finish the
Justin?
movies. Let him finish the movies. Let him finish the movies.
Squirrel
No.
Brain.
Never.
Anyway, hold on, energy. All right, let's go.
That needs clipped.
Yes.
And then the last film that we have selected for the 4th of July stream, which is actually happening on July the 2nd, because Tuesday is not the 4th, but we felt like thematically it made sense to embrace that there's a holiday happening close to our regular showtime. So our 4th film is Independence Day with Battsauce's favorite actor,
Welcome to Earth.
Mr. Will Smith. Yeah, it's not as good as After Earth. Not as good. But,
Not as good. It's not as good as Afterbirth. Frankly, seeing a miniature version of him really enhances the viewing experience. What a shit
Well, I
fucking
think
film.
it was a good stepping stone until he got to After Earth, right? Like, you can't just start at the top. So
Who's
you gotta
the,
make your way to
I'm gonna
After
throw
Earth.
up actively.
Who's the guy that was in Jurassic Park and Ian Malcolm? Who played him? What's that guy's name from The Fly?
I don't know. He's in Daybreakers and a whole
He's in
bunch of
Thor
other
4.
movies.
What's that guy's name? It's escaping me.
I don't-
Oh, I want him and Christopher Walken in a movie. He's also in Independence Day.
Walken.
Oh, yeah,
Christo-
guys.
You know,
right.
Christopher
Well-
was supposed to be in that movie, but he walked off the project.
He's walking here.
Before we talk about show AC's clip
Speaking
again,
of
or
Conjuring
Yep,
Kings.
that's ready. Yep.
advertising video. I do want to mention real quick. We go, this is another week we go with the active challenge out to Royce for the Legend of Korra debate, which he is just
We are
running from. He's
100%.
scared.
This will
Corrugated?
be a
Are we
special
sure?
for the Iron Seas. This will be a special.
Yes.
He loves his girl Korra, and he says he'll do anything to defend her, but when it comes to put his money where his mouth is,
Yeah, no, he
he's
came
scared.
in. He's like,
He's
"Oh,
He
scared.
does say that.
signed
I've
up
heard
for
him
her
say
own-
that.
Hey, guys, I signed up for her like OnlyFans, and it's just like her shoulder and her awesome back muscles. This is peak anime, Western anime. You have no idea.
Based
He
top.
was great. I started to get him going on Friday night.
Frank,
I
do
was like, let's
like
record Ben's.
goth Korra?
so,
Like, oh my
people
God.
just-
Hi guys, I'm
started going,
Royce. I finally got a goat.
Dude, I was like, no.
If we drag this out, AC is going to get attacked again with a mace, I believe. So
Oh,
Oh, you made me
no.
look. You made me look. I was like, I
Bro,
haven't
she
been
like
home.
she going to you, bro. Like it
That
was.
was a black bag moment. That was great. I'm into it.
All right, AC, play your advertisement.
All right,
Yeah,
we're gonna.
I'm losing my freaking mind here. I don't know what's happening.
This is a good
Stream's
one.
fun.
This is a good one. We're gonna play the ad and then go right into the outro. So everybody who made it this far, thank you. Spotify world, thank you, and Kahuna with his gyrating
Start strong, finish
Gyrating.
crazy. I believe
Gyrating.
the old
Yeah.
YouTube
wait.
adage.
There's the action.
Here.
Yeah, there we go.
There it is.
There's the
Yes.
action.
So anyway,
Drop it
thank,
down, drop it low. Got to get that.
To the floor. Anyway.
thank you, everybody. Be like Kahuna. Steal and boast. Cheers.
Filipino women.
Tensing the muscles in his hands, he remembered how he claimed his name. That winter so long ago now, where a band of rogue bulls had been pillaging every village between the mountains.
Their rampage broke against me, however,
He thought.
and a blizzard rose up to protect me.
The storm had raged for 3 days after the horde arrived. Hyman had gathered his brothers and cousins to strike first, though. When the stars came out, most of the horde slept. The storm had broken, and Hyman knew that was his chance.
My cousin still claims I caved in their leaders faced with frozen fists.
He grunted and brushed a numb finger across the remains of his nose.
The cold claimed a nose, 4 toes, and nearly both hands that night. But I bought my name with it.
How's it going, everybody? This is A.C Pritchard, thanking you personally for making it this far into the video. I just wanted to say that I look forward to watching this project grow over time and giving you the best product that I can possibly give, for being so generous in your possible support. So, thank you for your consideration, and have a nice day. Let's see where the road takes us. Cheers. It's time to step away from the pigs and the overlords that say that this is the way to do something. This is the way you must tell a story. This is the way that you must jump through our hoops in order to be recognized as legitimate. No.
You best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one. Me chest, lad. He'll be coming soon. Can't let them find this.
Who's coming?
The cyborg. Beware the cyborg.
What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
People say no. People say no these days. They see garbage like Halo, and they see what you could do, like Fallout, and they still say no, because it's not enough. It's too little too late.